2, 1. Welcome to Potter Familias, coming to you from Fairhope, Alabama.
I'm Todd Sylvester.
I'm Stephen Sylvester. And we're not sponsored by LaCroix.
You mention it in like every other episode.
Because I'm always drinking one. I don't know.
We're sponsored by Fairhope Water Department.
And also, I don't know. I'm doing observational podcasting. Brand names.
You were born in 1991?
I was.
And you were born into, I would consider us lower middle class at that time.
Yeah. Yeah, you and Mom had just graduated college. And
I was a high school teacher.
Mm-hmm.
She was working as a nurse on the weekends for a while until she was 7 months pregnant with your sister. And then there was a virus in the nursing home that she was in where they said, very dangerous to be around if you're pregnant.
Yeah.
So Mom came home and said, yeah, I can't work there anymore. And I said, oh, okay. And I'm kind of just waiting for her to explain to me what the next plan of action is. And she goes, yeah, I don't think I'm going to go back to work.
Oh.
And I was like, oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Right on.
So I took on the bus driving route and I was working during the summers and we made it happen. But I'm pointing that out because it's not like we had an excessive amount of money to do a lot of big things.
Mm-hmm.
Like we had a television.
Yeah.
And we had a VCR.
I remember.
Don't laugh. And we
VCRs are awesome.
But we had, a certain number of movies, but we didn't have cable.
Okay.
So we only had so many choices when it came to what we were watching on screens.
Yeah.
And I'm saying this because the topic for today
is...
It's the main thing. Yeah.
Screens. I definitely won the lip syncing contest.
Yeah, you sure did. Yeah. Man, just pat yourself on the back.
I will punch you.
Gold star.
I will punch you.
Blue ribbon. Good job.
What were the kinds of things that you were watching when you were a kid?
Well, the one that I vividly remember that we've talked about that I still can't watch without not only knowing every word but tearing up and going like, what's happening to me, is The Lion King. Oh my gosh. I watched that movie probably 1,000 times.
Dad!
Yeah, I can't.
Dad!
I can't. It's still...
I just can't wait to be king!
It's still such an emotional experience for me watching that. Like I tried to watch it with my kids recently and I couldn't do it.
Couldn't get through?
Yeah, couldn't get through because Edie was just like, Daddy, why are you crying? And I'm like, I'll explain when you're older.
Heck yeah.
So it was great, but I was just like, man, this was a huge part of my early childhood.
And it was awesome.
Lion King for sure. I think you guys let me watch Barney the Dinosaur quite a bit.
Oh, we watched a lot of Barney.
Yeah, that I only vaguely remember.
A lot of Barney.
I vaguely remember Barney the Dinosaur.
We were singing those songs. How can you vaguely remember Barney the Dinosaur? It was like one of the few things we let you watch till you were like 13.
What I mean, that's fair. Hashtag homeschooled. But I vividly remember The Lion King in a way that I don't remember Barney, is what I mean. I remember watching Barney.
Probably because of the quality of the production. And the songs, I'm sorry, but I love you, you love me, is not as good as I Just Can't Wait to Be King.
There are some absolutely fantastic compilations of out-of-context things from Barney on YouTube, which...
I don't want to know.
It's absolutely...
Don't ruin that for me.
It's fantastic.
Because for us, Barney was great. It was something that I felt taught good, positive things about interrelations with people.
You know what I remember from Barney?
What?
The brushing your teeth song.
Yeah, it's a great song.
I was teaching that song to Edith the other day, just going like, I'm brushing my teeth and having so much fun, but I never let the water run. So let's just turn that off.
I never let
Let's turn the water off, please.
Run.
Turn the water off so we're not paying for that. Thank you. And that's what I was telling and going like, where is this coming from? Not just the song, but also the sense of like being a dad and turning lights off, and I was just like, oh, what's happening to me?
Give me some.
Yeah.
Yeah, baby.
It's already happened.
Dad props.
Yeah. I'm almost to the point of where I'm going to sit on our front porch in a rocking chair and yell at kids.
Get off my lawn.
What are you doing? Playing basketball. Put a shirt on.
So then when was the first time that you saw something on a screen? Well, first of all, at what point do you remember age-wise when we got a computer?
I remember we had a Windows 95 module, and we would play that game Pitfall on it all the time.
Yes.
That's what I remembered it for, because we had a joystick, and you had to use that to play. And that was, what, mid-90s?
Yes.
Late 90s, maybe?
Yeah.
Because we still had that computer when we moved into our big house in Mobile.
We did. I
So-
remember how much that computer cost.
I remember that.
$4,000.
Are you serious?
Well, we had to make payments on it.
Dang.
It was like buying a car.
That's 3 times as expensive as the computer that Afton and I just bought.
Thanks for that.
Well, okay.
I mean, it's just, what can I do? That's how much the computers cost back
I'm just
then.
making a comparison. I wasn't trying to
Right.
make you feel bad.
But when so include the computer then, because you have memories of that.
Yeah.
Tell me about the stuff that you were watching. When was the first time you watched something where you're like, ooh, that kind of either was scary or made you uncomfortable?
Oh, I can tell you exactly
Yeah,
what it was.
come on.
So I remember, I have vague memories of being scared by certain movies when I was a kid, but the one that I vividly remember, and you'll know exactly what this was because you probably saw this all the time, was when The Phantom Menace came out in 99. I hated Darth Maul. Hated him.
Yeah, he's a scary dude.
But here's the thing. So I would just run out of the room during that whole scene where...
You should.
Is it a spoiler? Can I spoil that one since it's been out for over 20
come
years?
on. No, it's not a spoiler. When he cuts the guy in
When
half.
no. Darth Maul is the one who gets cut in half by Obi-Wan. But when Darth Maul kills Qui-Gon is what I didn't want to see.
Wait, he kills him?
Yeah, spoiler alert.
You're a jerk.
Sorry, everyone.
I love
Yeah.
you. You love me.
What do you-
I don't know. So about how old were you?
I was like, well, if it was 99, then I was 8. So I was 8, and I remember being absolutely terrified of that scene.
And this, I don't know when the ratings were.
Oh, it was PG. I think.
PG, not PG-13.
I don't think so.
Okay, I was just making sure. Because we did change when we were raising, and there's going to be another podcast on the difference between your first child and your 10th child and how you raise them. But
Yeah.
we did change. We did alter things. And the big part of the change was you guys, your influence on your younger siblings.
Yeah,
Because we weren't bringing those songs into the house. It was y'all booming it in your rooms and the younger kids walking by going, what's that song? What's that song? And then we caved. I will admit, we caved. So now when my kids are playing Just Dance.
So by we caved, you mean you take full responsibility?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm not taking full responsibility because we certainly didn't initiate it, you punk. We didn't initiate
What
it.
did you want? Wait, we were homeschooled. Any connection that we had to the outside world where we were like, ooh, popular culture was like the coolest thing ever.
And some of it was pretty cool.
Some of it was cool. Also, some of it was...
By the way, it was age appropriate for you guys, just not for your younger siblings, is what I'm saying.
Okay, that's fair. So the way that screens as a parenting issue came to the forefront for Afton and I as parents is when we realized how many other young families use iPads as a way of distracting their kids while they're in public. And I don't mean just like we're at a restaurant, let's give them an iPad because they're fussy. I mean, we watch people all the time who just let their kids play games and watch YouTube on an iPad for hours every day. And it's the way that they get their kids to shut up and behave.
Man.
So screens
What
for
are
us.
those kids going to turn out to be like when they're older? I mean, if they've got a screen addiction at that age,
Yeah. So
when the brain is being formed, I don't think that's a good idea.
Yeah. And Afton and I agree, which is why we have made a rule that not only will we not get our kids smartphones until they're old enough to pay for it themselves. Excuse me.
I like that. I wish we had come up with that one.
Well, yeah, and I think there's pros and cons for sure, but I'm totally comfortable telling my kids like, yeah, I got a smartphone earlier than you did, and tough.
Yeah,
You're gonna pay for this if you want it.
right.
So we've said that we're not gonna get them smartphones until they're old enough to pay for it themselves, and although we own one iPad, we never bring it with us on any trip. Anytime we're going to a restaurant, going to the park, doesn't matter. We never, ever bring a screen and use it as a way to get our kids to calm down, ever.
Right. And I'll tell you, it's hard.
Yeah.
And some of the rules that we made,
Like
we kind of altered them.
I'm not judging. I'm not
Yeah.
judging parents that do it. I'm just saying
But
that
I'm
that's
saying
not something I'm comfortable doing.
You remember when we brought cell phones into the family, right? For the kids?
I do, yeah.
When was it for you?
When I was 16.
Exactly.
When I
and
could
that was
drive.
the rule. That was the rule. When you're 16, that was the rule. And we
But
did
that was just for safety, so that you could call me if there was a problem.
Well, right. And that's why it made sense. But then smartphones changed everything.
Yeah.
Because then it's a computer.
And you're just
I got to
bringing it
tell
around
you
with you
all,
everywhere.
if you are giving your kid a smartphone that can go online, because all smartphones can, without some kind of filtering and accountability software on here, I personally think that that's abuse because you are giving them a loaded gun.
I wouldn't go so
It's too
far.
much.
I wouldn't go so far as to say it's abuse, but I will definitely say that in my experience as a youth minister in the modern age and these days, see, I'm doing the dad thing again.
Yeah.
But these
Dad
days,
props.
as a youth minister, I think that there is still a scary amount of ignorance on the part of parents when it comes to giving their children smartphones and giving them totally unfiltered and unchecked access to the internet. Not even necessarily because of what you might think, right? So you might think we're talking about them getting access to pornography or getting inappropriate contact with adults who are trying to reach out to them for weird reasons. It's not even that. It's just the sheer fact that they have access to things that you haven't even thought of as a concern for their safety and for their well-roundedness as a child, if that makes any sense. Because I can remember getting into stuff that wasn't even necessarily immoral. It was just rabbit holes that I could have gone down in terms of making that the focus of my life. And that's why I think there's a lot of people in my generation, and really it's people that are about 5 to 10 years younger than me, who have grown up with all this stuff, who a great deal of people from that generation have now created these incredibly specific and limited niches for themselves in culture, in things that don't make any sense to anybody else, but is really specific and important to them. And so it's become part of their life. Like in the gaming community, you see this quite a bit, where there are these people who that's all they do.
Yeah.
And I'm, again, not judging. I'm just saying that that's something that I'm not comfortable having as a potential way that my kids will grow up.
And you got to take a step back and look at the big picture.
Yeah.
Because I've seen the way that you were raised, and then it altered a little bit as we went down the line, and the first time that we got video games in the house.
Yeah.
And what really broke us was the Dance Dance Revolution.
Mm-hmm.
Because Mom was like, they went to the mall, we went to the arcade, and they got on the Dance Dance Revolution thing, and they were sweating, and I've never seen the kids move that much in my life.
Yeah.
And then we invested a huge amount of money getting the big, almost professional pads. You remember those?
They were
And
awesome.
They were awesome. And that's what brought video games into the house. So some of the rules that we have concerning the screens, it's like how much can you watch, and movies and TV.
There were time limits after a while for all of us too, with how much TV we could watch.
And then at what point in time can you let them watch this movie? Because then the ratings did change, and it's like PG-13.
The ratings have gotten a lot better, by the way, with suggestions and giving age ranges for
specifics.
And there's so much more out there.
Because you and some of your siblings have all had criticisms, which is rightly so. You have the right to do that.
We have.
Like I remember your sister saying, "Thanks a lot for letting me see Twister when I was X amount old."
Yes, and I remember her having that specific complaint because she was so scarred by that. But I don't think that was like, take Afton, for example, my wife. She went to see Titanic with her mom in the theater when she was like, when did it come out? 97? So she was like 6.
Oh, that's
that's
young.
Yeah,
for that film.
And the way that she tells the story is that she and her brother both went with their mom, and she just kind of covered both of their eyes during the scenes with nudity. And I remember her telling me this and going like, "Oh." Like, okay. And she was like, don't judge. Like, it was a different time. And it really was. Like, people just thought differently about that stuff.
And there are certain things, like Mom kind of gets hung up oftentimes on violence.
Yeah.
Violence doesn't bug me. Because it doesn't burn into my brain. Now,
Yeah.
I don't know about the kids per se, but I'm thinking about my childhood and the stuff that I watched. Or do you remember the first time I took you to see Lord of the Rings?
Yeah.
And the orc got his head
Yep.
chopped off?
That is still burned into my brain.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Sorry. I don't
Yeah.
remember. How old were you?
I was like 10 or 11.
Let's say you were 12 or 13.
I was not. I was definitely younger than
I'm
that.
thinking he was more like 12 or 13.
This was 2001, everyone. Do the math. I was 10.
Dang it. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Sometimes parents make mistakes.
And actually, speaking of which, we do. And that was one of the first things that I had to come to grips with when I was having kids of my own. That like, oh yeah, I guess we are just all going to kind of mess up our kids a little bit, and we're just trying to mitigate that. And that's what parenting is mitigating how much you're messing up your children.
Yeah.
So, and I don't mean that as a joke. Like, I think in a lot of ways we're all just sort of making choices where it's like, well, I'm doing my best.
Yeah.
And with screens, that's something where we think that as much as we can cut that out of our kids' lives, because we do let them watch TV, we do let them watch movies, not excessively, obviously, but an iPad.
Pocoyo.
Yeah, Pocoyo is awesome.
Pocoyo.
And we also found this new show called Twiddly Boos or this sounds so stupid. We found this
Sounds deep.
Twiddly Woos or Tiddly Woos or something like that. And shut up! Stop making that face. So
Your youngest brother is 9. I'm
Yeah.
not watching Twiddly Boos
okay,
or whatever
well,
it is.
okay, it's this show on Netflix that, and if you watch a lot of children's TV, parents, you'll know what I'm talking about. That if you find a show where it's at least mildly entertaining and it's not mind-numbing to watch, that's nice because you don't feel like you want to kill yourself after watching TV with your kids for an hour. So it's nice.
Like the Wiggles.
No, that was definitely one of the ones where I was like questioning whether or not I wanted to keep living after a while. SpongeBob is great. You know, we just introduced our kids to SpongeBob.
Really?
Yeah, and it's probably
Even past season 3?
no, just
Yeah.
the first 3 seasons.
I was going to say.
Yeah, no. I mean, once you
It
get to
gets
season,
lame.
yeah, SpongeBob was dumb after the first 3 seasons. The first 3 seasons were so good.
Genius.
Like I'm watching this with them, and I'm laughing more than
some money, eh?
I'm laughing more than the kids watching SpongeBob because it's so nostalgic for me as well. But all that to say, iPads at a restaurant are a bridge too far for us.
Yeah.
And that's something where we were like, nope, we draw the line there. Not comfortable doing that. I know a lot of parents are, again, not judging you if you are, but that's something that we don't want to do. And so we've made concessions in other places, but that's one of the places where we say, nope, here's the line, not crossing that.
And it is hard also with the smartphones because there's just so much. And I have to admit, I was in a store one time and I walked past and I noticed that they were looking at the YouTube Kids app and they were watching some videos and they were cute. They were funny. And the kids were laughing. And I get it. I get it. I think the difficulty is once you go down there, then time goes by so fast. Like during the summer, we limit the kids to 2 hours of video games, which sounds like a lot. It goes by so quickly. They'll start at 9 o'clock in the morning. At 11 o'clock, it's like, you're done. You're done with television now for the rest of the day. And you got to get outside. You got to do something.
Yeah.
And they know not to complain because then dad will be like, well, let's go in the yard and pick up sticks.
Right. That sounds familiar to my childhood.
yeah, it does.
It's like, yes. Awesome. Do you remember that giant swing we used to have?
Oh, baby.
That thing was awesome.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. I was telling Edie about it and thinking like, man, I wish there was a way for us to build another one of those, although it was probably super dangerous. It was super dangerous.
Mom, when I built it, okay, so 2 huge pine trees.
Yeah.
And I used stainless steel vinyl covered cable to come down. And
Because why would you use anything else?
right. So it was secure. It was very secure. But then when you're swinging, you were a good 15,
20 feet in the
20
air.
feet in the air.
Yeah,
something
it was
like that,
huge.
at least.
And you got going.
Yeah. So once you really got going, and so Mom, her first question when I finally put it all together was, "Well, wait, where's the harness?" And I went,
And you were like, what harness? What do you mean?
a harness?
Yeah.
I know not what you speak of.
The early 2000s were a different time.
Hey, I grew up when there was no kids seats. My mom
Right.
put us in a little pack and play in the back of the Volkswagen bus that we had, and no seat belts, no child seats, nothing. You just climb on back there,
See,
baby. And
we're gonna be doing this when
going to the
we're
grocery
older.
store.
I'm gonna be telling my kids like, yeah, you weren't nearly as hard as mom and dad with all the crazy stuff we had to go. And then you'll be like, you don't know what you're talking about.
And then the generation before us is like,
Right.
are you kidding? I sat on a rusty seat.
Went uphill in the snow both ways and wrote my math on the back of a shovel with a piece of charcoal.
That I had to dig myself. All right, you got a song for us?
Oh yeah, I do. I almost forgot.
What you got?
This one is called Love Still Gives Me Hope. It goes like this. Again, the squeak is part of the song.
I gotta put some WD-40 there
Or something. The love of a brother is wine for the soul. Kindles your fire and stokes up your coals. Likewise, a sister who knows you so well, lonely but smiling, and still she can tell. The love of a father is wild and kind. It burns like the sun and can heal when it shines. Likewise, a mother who held you inside. Oh, she is the moon on a cold, starless night. And oh, my heart can lie sometimes to make me think I'm not alright. Oh, some things I won't ever know, but love still gives me hope. The love of a brother who doesn't share blood can be like a gift sent to you from above. Likewise, a sister who's been there before will give you her heart till she can't anymore. And oh, my heart can lie sometimes to make me think I'm not alright. Oh, some things I won't ever know, but love still gives me hope. Oh, love is the answer to every question I know. And love is the reason that I hold on to hope. The love of a lover's a dangerous thing. Drive you to madness or make your soul sing. Two hearts together, naked, no shame. A family is born and they all look the same. And oh, my heart can lie sometimes to make me think I'm not alright. Some things I won't ever know, but love still gives me hope. And oh, my heart can lie sometimes to make me think I'm not alright. Some things I won't ever know, love still gives me hope. Love still gives me hope. Yeah, love still gives me hope.
That's awesome. Thanks so much for listening to Potter Familias. Hope you enjoyed it.
Do all the things.
Do all the things. Leave some comments. Next week, we had some comments on people that were wondering why I'm not singing any of my old songs.
Ooh, you should.
We are. Next week, we're going to
Okay.
sing... yes. We'll sing that song.
Yes. That's
be
going to be
fun.
awesome. Spoilers.
You'll have to pull out the lyrics though, so I can remember.
It'll be fine. We'll figure it out.
We'll see you next.